It does. It does. It does.
All right, we got the whole.
What's
We got the
happening?
whole.
Hey.
Here.
How you doing?
Oh,
Good,
going pretty
good.
good there. With
Yeah.
my flat tire.
It's not flat. It's not flat.
It's
Oh,
not
fat tire?
It's fat tire.
He's like,
Like
let me read
fat
it.
tire.
Your head, man. I don't know where the hell come from. I could have swore it said flat. Fat.
Make it a
Yeah,
whole new
fat
word.
tire. Okay.
Oh man, that's funny. So episode 104 out the door.
What's the title?
Oh, we didn't call this episode. What is it? History repeats itself.
History repeats itself. I like it.
Yeah,
How y'all come up with that name?
Grandpa came up with that one.
Uh,
We're in our pre-show meeting. We're like, we're gonna name this episode.
Perfect. All right, what we talking about today?
Well, let's beer in first, and I'm sure our things will get lubricated into the
So-
mind.
so wait a minute. Hold on. Quick question. Did you ever skip any weeks?
There's been 1 or 2 weeks we might have not been able to do, but sometimes.
Who is
But
that?
I think we've normally made up with like 2 episodes a week at that point.
So, but think about it. Like, if it's 104 and it's 52 weeks in a year, that means you've been on it rock solid for 2 years.
2 years.
Oh,
it's
man.
good.
Yeah, I never
It's a
thought
2-year
about that.
anniversary.
Woo!
2-year anniversary. History repeats itself.
Look at that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
52, 104. That's right. Yeah.
All right, so we bearing in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we bearing in. Happy anniversary, y'all.
Hey, happy anniversary.
We beat
Yay.
100, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
hit the 2-year anniversary.
I didn't even think about that, man. This is 2 years we've been doing this, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Wow. You
That's
can't handle the juice.
I'm
You
pretty
get
sure.
out of the juice, eh?
I'm pretty sure me and Grandpa probably tried
Is
this
that
one.
the name of the? That's what you drink it?
But we got
Yeah.
that. I got
That's
that
the
too
name
hard
of it?
today.
Yeah, you can't handle the juice.
Oh, how about that? Yeah.
So you know what, nephew? I almost got him the Two-Hearted.
Well,
Surely that would have been too funny if I'd have got that and y'all would have been drinking the same thing.
Well, I had this in the cabinet for a while because I wasn't going to drink it, but like, I
What
didn't
did-
have
which one would have been the
nothing,
same?
so it is what it is.
Yeah, he has Two-Hearted Ale, and I have Sex and Candy this week.
Oh, okay.
We're just trying to clear out the refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what you got, Pops?
I got fat tire.
Fat tire. Fat
Well,
tire.
you on it too. Not flat.
Yeah.
Fat.
I was
All right,
gonna
here's
keep
the
calling it-
2-year anniversary.
Okay. With a fat tire.
Oh, Pops, you need a bottle opener.
I
See,
just
that-
opened it with a pair of clippers, but now I laid the top right back on, you know.
Oh,
Wait, you took it off and sealed it back?
You got pliers.
don't ask no question, Joshua. Let one do what he do.
That's how I got it off. I had it off. And I didn't push it back. I just laid it on there.
Let me zoom in on Grant. Oh no, let me
There
zoom
must be
in
a
on
message
right
there.
now.
But
Let me
anyway,
zoom in on him. There we go.
a fat tire is an amber ale
Okay.
from
Yo, I
Colorado.
didn't know I could do this. Every time we do beer ends now, I'm gonna zoom in on everybody. This is great. We learned this stuff our second year, man.
Come on, bro.
Second year off with a bang.
There we go. Elevating.
Yeah.
Trying to see the ABV.
He
Yeah,
tried to say
what's up?
something. You got that magnifying glass.
5.2.
That's what it is.
Yeah, 5.2.
You're not even
Oh,
looking at the part with the numbers. He
I'll
just
take your
looking
word
at
for it, because I sure can't find it.
Oh
Oh,
shoot! What you,
5.2. Oh, let me give it a little taste there.
Wait a minute, pre-rate. Oh, no.
get
He
that
said,
pre-rated. Get that tape. Just rate it, Grab. It's all right. It's 2 years in now. We didn't. We done moved on from it being.
You like, y'all done stopped me from drinking my doggone beer. What?
Go ahead, Grandpa. Go ahead, drink it.
No questions asked.
What you rating it?
Well, it's got a good start there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. That's another 6 there.
Oh.
Okay. Well, but Grandpa gave a Fat Tire a 6. All right, Auntie, what about you? What you got? You the face now.
So, let's have Sex and Candy from
Oh,
8th
Sex
Street
and Candy.
Brewery,
Right.
Black owned in Indiana, 7.5 ABV. I had it before. I can't remember though. I'm thinking it was like a 6.5, maybe 6.75. Let me see. I can go 6.95. There we go.
6.95. Oh, man.
Almost a 7. This is actually, it's really good. It's drinkable.
Drinkable. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stick at 6.75, 6.85, somewhere around there. It might go. We gonna see.
Okay. What
I
about
started out with a 6.
Yes, sir.
what you, Uncle Pooh Bear?
Man, you can't handle the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't handle the juice.
All right, Jack Nichols.
Yeah, you caught it. You caught the reference. All right. Yeah, it pours well, drinks light. It's
pretty.
It's not a whole lot. It's not very bitter, but it disappears on the back palate. It is juicy though. I got to give it to it. Got a little tang, little twang to it. It's pretty good. It's solid. I give it a 6.5. I drink it again. I got a story about Dad's Fat Tire, so we can come back there, Joshua, after you.
All right, let me do mine real quick then. Man, I'm loving this thing. I didn't figure some stuff out today. So I got this Two-Hearted Ale. Sorry for people who are sticklers and remember things. I think we read this before, but I don't remember, so I'm gonna do it again.
After you drink enough beer, it starts to taste different. Your palate changes.
You're right. It's I don't remember it tasting this way. You might be right. I had in the back of my mind, I remember this tasting a lot more bitter. So maybe you're right. My palate probably might have changed a little bit. It's moved from I don't want to drink it ever again to it's all right. I give it a 5.5. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we like that Two-Hearted Ale.
What was it? No, we big screen now again, Grandpa. What's the story, Uncle Pooh?
So the story is Dad likes craft beer because that is the very first craft beer I've ever had. Yep. I was at a bar. I was in Chicago. We were downtown at a bar. It had to be like 2004. And 2003, 2004, I'm in there with Amiel Jackson. And Amiel Jackson says, let me buy you a beer. We're sitting at the bar. I was like, sure. And the bartender came and put down a deuce of Fat Tire in front of both of us. Like we both had our own deuce. At that point in my life, I had never seen a deuce, a 22-ounce bottle served in a club, right? At a bar. So that blew my mind, and we got to drinking it. That became like, that was like post Michelob phase. I was like a Michelob drinker. That was like my stuff. And then I got introduced to craft beer.
Yep. Then we would get the whole New Belgium sample pack. So
then we'd go all through.
1882. Is that what it was? Remember the one we used to love in there? The porch something, and that was our New
Belgium. Every time they came out with a new one, we went through all of their stuff. Dad's a craft beer drinker.
This craft beer, I don't see no 22 ounces on here.
No, not that's a 12 ounce. But I'm saying they served. This was 2004. I don't even know if they still make that bottle. I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just tripped out because that's what they served in the club, in the bar, right? We was in a bar. I forgot the name of the bar.
Grandpa heard carafe beer.
It's
served in a carafe.
But it's a good beer, though. It's a solid beer, though. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. I was like, he like craft beer. He owned it, but he has been drinking different beers for 2 years, though. That'll do it. It changes your palate.
That works. So what was I gonna say? The week that was, man. So a lot of stuff happened globally in the black community. Me and Grandpa, of course, were talking about Cuba before the show.
Oh man,
because that's what you want to talk about. And coincidentally, there is something really happening in Cuba. There's a people uprising. What's the actual term?
There was some protests.
Okay, and Grandpa was telling me he was very disturbed by the way he was being portrayed. What were you saying, Grandpa, about what's happening in Cuba right now?
Yeah, they turned this into a thing like the revolution has started. We're gonna overthrow the Castro regime. Sending American troops over and all that stuff. When the thing started out, they were talking about Americans interfering in Cuba's affairs. They boycotting Cuba when they can't buy nothing, and the people that they can trade with, if they try to trade with somebody, the United States says you trade with them, then you can't trade with us. So Cuba's economy is always dependent upon, the United States, which they got a foot on their neck, But they want to make like, man, them Cubans down there in Florida, the Marios and all them, thinking there's a chance that we're going to get our property back, Well,
hold on. Let's something about that. So there was a law written during I guess the height of the BLM protests, where in Florida you can't protest on the freeway. And lo and behold, a bunch of Cuban people or a lot of Latino were down in Florida. Did you see the protest where the mayor of that particular city was with them when they walked onto the freeway for 4 hours and blocked traffic, which is based on what they wrote into law, is a federal crime?
What?
Hold on, I can show it. Can I share my screen?
Because I remember Pooh was just showing you. That's what you were watching the other day, right, babe?
Oh, hold on. I messed up.
Hold on. I'll add to stream. No, do that thing again. I'll add to stream and I'll put that up. All right. So yeah, Uncle Pooh Bear is getting that. It was wild because I'm listening to his report, and then someone brought up that this was actual federal. There we go. Let's throw this up here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So listen to this. How do I?
Yeah. There you go. Yep. Play that volume. Oh.
How do I make it bigger?
Oh, you got to hit the
after the Black Lives Matter.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Matter protest. DeSantis passed a bill. It made blocking highways a felony. Of course, the Miami police reminded everyone on Twitter. That didn't stop the mayor of Hialeah from showing up with a police escort to gain some votes. All of a sudden, first responders don't matter. People have been stuck in this shit for like 4 hours. That's what I've been trying to tell you with Eddie. People become hypocrites real quick when their ideology is the one being fought for. Yo, free Cuba, though. So Cubans in Miami are now blocking streets and highways. There's video of them running from the street onto the highway, and the police were cheering. Now, after the Black Lives Matter protests, DeSantis passed a bill. It made blocking highways a felony. Of course, the Miami police reminded of Matter protests.
Yeah.
DeSantis passed a bill.
Yeah, that's a little wild. Is that here?
I'm here. I was trying to hurry up and change my camera because I'm over here looking like a Oompa Loompa. I hate the color of it, but yeah, I was listening while y'all were doing that.
I like that.
Auntie's back on her beige rage moment, but
there's a whole lot of people that see through what they're doing down there in Cuba. All of a sudden, they talking about putting American troops on Cuban soil. Hey, that's a independent country. They ain't bothering us in no kind of way.
I'm confused to that last clip. If that's true about that being a federal crime, and those people are all on camera, what's going on with their mayor? Is he going to be prosecuted? Do they sign a petition to block traffic for 4 hours? I mean,
it's only when black people. It's about black people. Do the laws matter? Like other than that, the laws don't matter.
Did they ever keep what's the word? Looking for the folks who stormed the Capitol? Whatever happened to that? Because I don't think that has to be a law that's a doggone federal offense. I mean,
that's an insurrection. You can't just
the governor is trying to go run for president, and now he wants that Cuban vote down there, which he got pretty already. But that's why come he, doing what he doing,
Mhm.
He looking for 2024.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Elections, and I don't have my trophy. Dang it!
No,
what's that?
that's just never a trophy, but that is it's just interesting. It's another slap in the face, and it's something we talked about in nauseum here, man. Black folks need to realize other groups are lobbying, man. They're lobbying hard to get what they want, and I'm gonna be watching to see if anybody in this quote unquote protest that happened in Florida, if they get prosecuted for anything, because if they pushed hard for it to be a federal crime, everybody needs to be chastised to the full extent of the law. Because I know they sure would, like Uncle Pooher and Uncle Chris was saying, they sure would took some black people out.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
police wouldn't be flapping if a bunch of black people were down there talking about give us reparations.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he talking about the guy in the video talking about, people become hypocrites. Like, hey, to become hypocrites, they've been hypocrites. They've been racist hypocrites, right? They
It's
just
exposed at that time.
Yeah, so I mean, Josh, I don't know. You still sound optimistic that something's gonna happen. Like I guess that's youthful optimism, and I guess somebody got to be optimistic. But I've been broken. I don't expect anything. I don't expect a lawless place to really start all of a sudden respecting the laws when it don't serve their bigger narrative of silencing us.
Well, I need to ask a question here. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, when is it going to be enough where we got to stop as a community talking about what about like this like I still see people put BIPOC and this people of color nonsense in their things, and when it comes down to it, ain't no people of color coalition. Like, ain't nobody really doing the same stuff for us. It's really an us versus everyone else mentality.
So Claude Anderson for like,
and I don't mean that in the sense of like people need to go out there and find people. I mean in the sense of when your group of people or your community is going for resources, it's really just your people going for resources. You shouldn't really be expecting other people to help you because everyone's competing, right? Everything's a finite amount, and if you bring in outside parties into your group who you don't have absolute loyalty from, it's going to backfire. And that's not just from people outside the group. There's people inside the Black community who don't know what they want to call themselves or don't know what they want to do for who they're supposed to represent. And it's wild because I'm seeing, we saw it in Florida with this protest, which is a federal crime apparently. We're seeing it with what is it? We're seeing a lot of movement and in the age community for stop Asian hate, which is fine. What I'm saying is people are gathering and getting stuff. They're openly lobbying for like goods and resources. And for the most part, you're seeing movement. I don't know how much movement in the grand scheme because I don't know. I haven't read all this documentation for what people are getting, quote unquote. But it's wild, man, because you see movement, but we get Juneteenth, we get a holiday that's for everybody. Like ain't just descendants of slaves who get the day off. It's the slave masters' descendants who also get the day off. So I mean, it's like when is something that's just going to benefit us?
I mean, until I don't know. I can attack that from a lot of angles. One, Claude Anderson said at least for the past 40 years, he's been saying you getting buried under multiculturalism and you keep buying it hook, line, and sinker, thinking that we all in this together when, like you said, it's a race for resources. They call it race for a reason. And we still playing games trying to help everybody else. And then two, you ain't gonna never get nothing when you don't respect your vote. You just openly give your vote to the Democratic Party. Why the hell they got to give you something? It doesn't matter how much you protest, march, yell, get shot in the streets, killed, murdered, underserved, whatever the case may be. Vote the exact same way. There's no consequence. So Malcolm said that 50 years ago. It's like, ain't nobody listening. And then when people speak out and speak this truth, like Ice Cube, you shout them down. And then what? Then you with the same old shit. Now Biden in office doing the same thing Trump did to us. Exactly what? Nothing. And then like your Democratic senators, your House members, it's all the same. You just vote the same damn people in, and then everybody else moving differently. The Cubans would pick their vote up and turn and vote for somebody else if they can get something. We ain't got the balls to do nothing like that.
Everybody will accept us.
Everybody will. Yeah.
And that's the sad part of it. That's the saddest part of it.
It's essentially because, so yeah, I was listening. I just started reading that book, Warm for Other Sons, and I'm at the part now. I mean, it's just interesting the dichotomy of the stories they're talking about, especially when it involves like the Black church and how it like Black people have become really, even after quote unquote emancipation, become true zealots, man. Like whatever group gloms onto us to try to quote unquote save us, it's almost like, hey man, it's like the moment they say, hey, we're gonna help you, that's it. People are just like, okay, we're with you, no matter what. Don't prove it to us. Don't show us what you mean by you gonna help us. It's just we there with you now, right? Mm-hmm. And it's truly got to be a point where it's like any interpersonal relationship. When it's a one-way street, it's you're never gonna get what you need, right? So there's got to be something else that we can do. I'm rambling now. Grandpa, give us some positivity, because I know we're just probably kind of.
He's the optimist.
He always got the positivity.
Oh yeah, the optimism is we will have a homeland just like everybody else. Italian go to Italy and so and so go here, but the Negro, we ain't got no home. As soon as they become united over there in Africa, where it be 54 states, and we'll have some support like everybody else got. That's the optimism.
We got to speak on that for a second, because the president of Haiti just got straight up killed by people who were part of the American defense system, right? Like were they ex-military or something, or informants, the police informants? So
I haven't seen they identify who killed him.
Did he got assassinated?
Yes, sir.
The Haitian president just got assassinated like a couple days ago.
It was last Wednesday. It was when we wanted to go.
Yeah, he was backed by the American government, because over in Haiti, they're looking for a change too,
Hold on.
And what this guy was doing,
The Guardian says ex-senator among 3 new suspects after murder of Haitian president. That's not right. American senators, are they?
No.
Well, we got looking at that. Hold on, we got some people who are commenting. So
read that again.
Hold on. It says ex-senators among 3 new suspects, but then it asks what American accused of plotting kill the Haitian president told the police. Oh, I haven't been reading on it.
He's been ready to take over, the one that they're accused of organizing the whole thing. It was a black guy who was down in, I think it was down there in Florida. He was assassinating the Haitian president because he was going to take over. Evidently, the country's at a standstill. They ain't doing nothing,
The Haitians say a U.S.-based suspect did it.
Yeah, the guy, I don't know, he was, I don't know, he was an American, I don't know, was he a senator? What was he?
Oh, somebody was plotting to assume presidency? I don't know. I got to read up on it. I haven't done no reading.
Former informant. That was one of the things I saw. But hold on,
they said that he's a Florida-based pastor.
A Florida-based what?
A Florida-based pastor is under arrest. For this
Okay.
Oh wow. Well, hold on a second. We got some questions here. So not questions. 2 people said something. So the good brother Stephen Barrett said, should it be a national coalition to advocate for us, or should we do smaller, either state or country or county coalitions? I moved to focus on just states. And Terry, who was on me and Grandpa the other week, said, y'all sound real Republican-ish today.
Who's not Republican-ish?
You said y'all. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question that Stephen asked about advocating at smaller states or county coalition level. What do y'all think about that?
I think what's my man's name? Kwame Ture and Charles Alexander wrote a great book called Black Power: The Liberation of Politics. I got to get the exact title. Yeah, The Politics of Liberation. That's what it is. Black Power: The Politics of Liberation. And in there, he advocates for a smaller focus, right? So like how he was talking about state and district wide, right? Because this whole thing was the people who get in power, like when you create a senator, they come from, like junior senators, they come from being aldermen, they come from, being mayor, being alderman. And he's like, we got to support people. Basically, we got to buy our politicians from the bottom up. So we got to own them at the local level. And then when they grow to that next level, we got to have control of them then. And then when they grow to the next level on so on. So I guess I'm going a long way to say from the bottom up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words,
that makes sense.
He delivered our message from the bottom. What we put him in there for.
Yeah.
And
because ain't no white people in our districts voting for aldermen. Like we selected, but we end up picking who the white man want us to pick because it's the house Negro that's talking right to massa. And then we assume that because they got a relationship, he gonna be able to get more done. But he on the payroll, he on the take. So we just keep pumping up people that got other folks' interests in heart because they're having their pockets padded. I just keep saying the black community needs to wake up and realize you got to buy your politician. This whole vote shit don't work. It ain't working.
So when you say buy your politician, what does that mean to you?
That means you got to fund them when they go into office. You got to fund them on the way up in office. Because if you're not funding them, they not going to listen to you. It doesn't matter how many times you vote for them or if they only in for one term. All they got to do is change one law, change one contract, and they done sold out to the highest bidder. So if we don't buy the politician, you're never going to control them. That's my opinion. I just, it's until they remove money out of politics, they ain't going to change. So we got to figure out how to start working together so we can pool our money so we can buy our politicians. Otherwise, it just doesn't matter, man. They just not listening. They only paying attention to the money.
The Haitian president that was assassinated, you know that he was voted out of office. His time was up. He was in there 6 months, but he wasn't. The only way he stayed president, he was propped up by the government.
By the United States.
Well, they said he didn't want to leave because they were saying that his term was supposed to be up from the time he was elected. And he said that his term wasn't up until the time he took office. So it's almost like how we vote in November, but they don't take office until January. So that's what he was saying. He was like, I still got a couple of months.
So everybody else would be gone by that time. You know what the hell he was doing.
He said he was still president, right? That 6 months that from the time they thought he was up. He said, no, from the time that I took office.
That's wild that's something that still happens. But that just goes to show they will get you up out of there. Like, hey.
But that's I didn't read a whole bunch of it, but that made sense to me though, because like if it's literally from election day, they're still the president. Like Trump was still president until January. He had not transferred control over the country or the office until January, even though his election, the election showed in November that he would no longer be president.
But they got a constitution. They a whole country. This already been decided. So now he's going back on what tradition has always been. And the only reason he lasted that long was because the United States propped him up and backed him.
Supported him.
Supported him.
Well, hold on. There's a difference between tradition and law. Did the law say that, or is it just tradition?
Right.
Oh, that's a good point. I do not know the difference. I know I believe that everybody before him got out at the other time, right? Okay. And he was trying to buck that tradition law. I don't know.
But that doesn't make sense to me, because if I leave at the time of the election, then who president until to the next installation? That just makes sense.
Whoever won.
But
but my point is they got laws. This is their country. They've been a country since 1804, right? Like they've been a country. This is already in place. that's for them to decide. I guess that's where I'm going. Like, I don't know if it makes sense.
It seems like someone decided for them.
Somebody did.
You ain't nothing.
You're right about that.
We said the 14th. Get up out of here.
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know.
Oh, I
don't know. I know it stinks to high heavens. I know that.
It's wild. I mean, anytime a sitting head of state is assassinated,
man,
there's a bunch of stuff going.
That wasn't no random violence, right?
A bunch of money changed hands, but we got a response. So Terry said, back to you, Uncle Pooh. I agree with Chairman. That's how he put it in here. I agree with Chairman. We have to buy our politicians. We have to align our dollar with our allegiance. Unfortunately, we don't care that much.
Yep. I don't know if we don't care or if we don't understand how important it is. And like a lot of us have been disconnected from politics because we ain't never got shit. So it's like people are like, oh, you don't even vote. You don't even vote. And people are like, why would I vote? You don't get shit. You just aggravated. And, I'm not saying don't vote. I vote, right? But I'm not saying don't vote. But that's just, I can understand the people that feel disconnected. And even the people that vote, they don't know why they voting. They just voting because of his history and to honor the ancestors and what the civil rights movement meant. And they ain't out doing their research on who the hell they voting for. They walking up into the booth and just is there a black guy? I'm voting for that black guy. And then anybody else, give me straight Democratic. And then they walking out just to go get their little sticker posted on social media and say they voted. It's not like it's a lot of intellectualism going into that, right? The average voter. I ain't talking about everybody.
Yes, some but not all. But it's I don't know. That sticker thing is always, it's kind of weird, man. Because whenever I'm one of those people, like whenever the majority starts giving you prizes for doing stuff they want you to do, it's always a trick bag behind that.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger trick bag. The bigger trick bag is there's a single business behind the stickers that are printed and sold and given away. That's the bigger trick bag. One business, one little white woman got this company.
You know this for real?
Yeah, man, these people are something else, man. It's something else. I forgot. I was watching like CNBC or something like when the special came on. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Of course, she's making millions of dollars selling stickers to the government, fam. But see, this is what and how do you think she got that, right? I bet she just got the best sticker business. No. Like I don't know. I don't know. I ain't gonna cast no aspersions on her. But maybe she was just in the right place at the right time. But I got money that says she knows somebody.
Oh yeah. So I'm over here reading more about this because I'm really curious. Now you got
into the presidency
about this election stuff. Like what happened? So they said what happened was he refused to hold a presidential election.
Mm-hmm. Well, then there's that.
So they said what happened was he said that he claimed his term would end 1 year later in February of 2022 because they had postponed the 2016 election. So he was like, y'all postponed the election. So he wanted his whole 4 years instead of the time that he was installed.
So he was just going to bully the system.
Yeah, so he was just going to take over, huh?
Ain't nobody going to vote. Y'all try to kick me out. Ain't nobody going to vote. Wow. That's some that.
Where you at on all this, Pops? I got fired up. I was going for a minute. I'm trying to back out.
I'm trying to figure which one you over in Haiti now or want to get back to Cuba?
Haiti. We in Haiti.
Yeah, either where. Yeah, wherever.
Wherever you want to be, Pops.
I was talking about the hypocrisy of the social media, and I was listening to them talking about Cuba, and I was getting sick because 9 years when Batista was in office over in Cuba as a dictator was popped up by the United States killing black folks, and nobody said a word. Now they talking about
I gotta say this.
When Obama decided to maybe let some Americans go over there and everything, and then Trump come back in with the same thing now with the boycott. How can they show what kind of a country they is till they get a chance to have some free trade? Well, they can't trade with nobody because every time they try to trade with somebody, the United States say, well, you can't trade with us then,
Grandpa, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just think it's hilarious that no matter what topic we going in on, no matter what we're discussing, you sit there like, all right, enough of what y'all talk about. Let's get back to Cuba.
I'll tell you what, I'm so disturbed because I grew up in this time when Batista was killing black folk, you know, and I ain't heard the United States say now one thing about a dictator. He wasn't voted into office. He went in and took office, and for 9 years he was a dictator over there. And nobody said nothing. That's why I keep going back to it, you know.
Well, Grandpa,
I remember when Castro was trying to.
You gotta tell us why. You gotta tell us what this Cuban fascination came from. Like, at what point in time in your life that you decided that Cuba was, I gotta know about this. You gotta let me know this, because this is a big thing now.
Well, this was the big change. It wasn't just Cuba. This is when the time when we had Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, you know, Burning Spear, when we had Patrice Lumumba, when we had all these people at about the same time trying to get some independence, get rid of this colonization. And so at the time with Cuba was one of many. I used to sit there and read the magazine sometimes, but they never told a story. They didn't tell us about Lumumba being singled out and killed by the CIA or nothing like that, you know. So if you got all that past history and you sitting there listening to what they talking about now, it's disturbing, you know. And I was really getting sick with Cuba because the way they was talking about it, you know, Castro was the devil. In 9 years, they had a dictator over there, and the United States didn't talk about no intervention. Not one time did they decide maybe to even support the Castro. That's why I keep on going back to Cuba, because I'm assuming in this particular period in time, in the 60s, it was all over they was having a problem all over the world. You know, people fighting for their, you know, for their independence from these colonizers. And now they want to change the story. That's what gets me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. But it made me giggle. I had to figure out who you was talking about. You was talking about Patrice Lumumba. They didn't tell you that. you said Lumumba or something. I was like, what is that? I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah. He called whatever he who.
Yeah. But he was talking about Patrice Lumumba got killed by the CIA.
Him and
over in the Congo.
Right. Because when they got their independence from, they talk about people when they got their independence from Belgium, right? What did you ever hear what Belgium had done prior to that? To the black people over there in the Belgium Congo, made Belgium a rich country, man. Made them rich off with a rubber, we paid for it with blood. But ain't nobody never saying nothing about it, you know. I mean, and it goes on and on and on, you know. Just like right now, as far as Africa's over in Chad, you know, they say the French troops is over there. What are they over there for? What are they trying to do? Must be some oil or something.
They ain't over there spreading no equality.
That's right. They ain't spreading no equality.
Yeah, the gig is up, man. The gig is up. The world know what the white man is on, man. And you know.
But it doesn't matter though. It's all been exposed, but I don't feel like any change has been made or will be made. I really don't.
I don't know. I think
it's unfortunate. Not to say that I don't want it to be made. It just does not seem to be that way. Everybody's been exposed, and people rah, yada, yada for a few seconds. Then something else comes up, and then nobody cares again. They really don't.
Well, you know what? To your point, when I was reading in that what is it, the Other Sons book? What's it called again? Y'all remember?
What is it?
Remember the book I just started reading? Yeah, that's an older book, like The Warmth of Other Sons. Yeah. So it was bringing up the fact that the first post-slavery riot that wasn't started by white people terrorizing black people, where black people actually started defending themselves back, happened in Detroit in the 40s. So that was, and to this day, the federal government has not done anything to rebuild all the burnings and destroyed houses and everything. Like, that's the main reason why Detroit has been blighted for so long, is because of that riot. And it's interesting that when that was the first time black people, like since the emancipation happened, that black people defend themselves when white people started to riot. And you notice that we didn't see any type of federal aid during that situation. I mean, after that situation, like what year is it? It's 2021, and that riot happened in the 40s, right, Grandpa?
Well, the big one was well, I don't say the big one. Then 68 or 67 was the one where down on 12th Street, where it started there. But the one in the 40s, 43, that was a situation out the Belle Isle. A black man was accused of something, et cetera, et cetera. And but the thing where people where they burnt down the whole, community was over there off of 12th Street.
So it
was a Jewish community,
From what I've read, it was some propaganda went out that some white man had done something to a bunch of black woman or a bunch of black kids, and the black community got up in arms and started rioting. And on the white side, they said that a black man had killed and threw a white woman's body into the water, so they started rioting. And it lasted several days. This riot went on.
That was in 1943.
Yeah, so that was the first time that black people, quote unquote, defended themselves during one of these situations. And it's just interesting that repairs and everything are done to our communities, especially after we've been attacked, but we've been always villainized for the fallout.
It's not interesting. It's America doing what America does. Stop giving this place goddamn credit. It don't deserve no credit. It doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. If they ain't questioned, they done did the wrong thing. They got to prove themselves to be innocent. If you just look at history and what has happened, they've never just done right by us. It just ain't happened.
So with y'all talking about the riots and stuff like that, Pops, I'm sure you know about the East St. Louis race riots of 1917. I mean, all of that was.
You say like he was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's big. It's part of history. It's like how people talk about the Civil War, the East St. Louis race riots of 1917. You see, I got the whole year up in there. I mean, that knowledge, and maybe it's common knowledge to me because I'm from East St. Louis. I don't know, but that was something that was always talked about. And just when you talk about not doing right, and all of that, they killed damn near 100, what the number is fluctuated, how many black folks died over, but it was about not wanting to do right with paying black folks just wages. It's just ridiculous. Like I said, we will never, I don't give a damn what anybody says, we will never be looked at as equals here, ever. Black president, Oprah, LeBron, it don't matter. They will never look at us as equals.
I wonder how you feel about that.
It's the truth.
I just ain't. I'm not banking on anybody looking at us as equals. That's where I think that's where we gotta wake up. And I know that's where you are already, right?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I don't really care about the equality. We need to be doing right by ourselves so that we see ourselves maybe as least as equals.
As better than, right? That's why I say at least as equals, but better than, and then start treating ourselves like that by buying politicians, supporting our communities, pooling our money together, educating ourselves, hiring ourselves, creating industry for ourselves. Nobody else is going to do it. They've only proven it for a couple of hundred years exactly what they've been. And if you don't fit into the mold of black people that they want, they're going to push you out, throw you out, assassinate your character, or do whatever is necessary to make you irrelevant. We got to wake up. It's the same game. I'm not intelligent. I just been reading the past. It's the same thing. I don't know nothing that ain't already been said. I just wonder when we going to wake up. What is it going to take? Is it going to take somebody throwing us in chains again before we wake up? What is it going to take? What else could they do? Your babies is being murdered on camera by wards of the state. Literally, your tax dollars go to kill your children, and we still ain't ready to get together and work together. I don't understand.
I don't understand. That's why I'm looking to live outside of this country, because I need to get clearly a different perspective. I need to see something different, because I don't understand this psychosis that we stay in.
It's crazy because, like, when I think about it, I feel like the Black race as a whole, it's like we're this weird oxymoron in a sense where we are warriors, true and through, to the core in our spirits, but we're also so docile sometimes. We're so forgiving, we're so loving, we're so kumbaya-y, and they don't want to give us credit for that. We want, they want to tell us that we're just straight animals and savages, but it's not the case, because if we were truly the animals and savages that they say we would be the only ones living. Real talk. But it's just like, it's that whole, I really feel like all the foolishness that happened when it comes to slavery, the whole brainwashing, it's because we just honestly just want to live and be happy. Period. Just let us be. Just let us be. Just there's no desire for conflict. We handle business when we need to, but the desire for conflict, I just don't think is naturally in us. I really don't. And I think it's taken for granted. And I think it's just that whole can we just get along mentality is just ingrained in so many people, because that desire to avoid conflict is just naturally in us. I don't know. And maybe it's because we know we better and we shouldn't even have to be stooped to those levels. I don't know. But it's so weird to me how, like, once you tell somebody, hey, we need to fight. Hey, we need to do this. Hey, you might be uncomfortable. Hey, step outside the comfort zone. It's like, it's weird.
What you just said, I don't think that's true. I don't think when people say, when people know they are better, they act differently. Like, for example, one of my friends was posting on Facebook just today talking about, like, there's a lot of faking going on in, like, Instagram and Facebook. People always posting their trips and things of that nature. And it's always based on these standards that aren't their own, right? Like, if you have to go on to debt, for example, to go on a trip, that's not a come up.
True that.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not you knowing that you're better. You know what I mean? You don't have to surround yourselves with experiences and items to prove something, right? Like, if you know something, you're just aware of it, right? It's one of those things. And I think that I'm proud for I'm not going to say the most part, for a good portion, I think it's the opposite of what you said. I don't think people know at all. And I think a lot of that has to do with the lack of real, true knowledge of self, and just being in tune with wanting to. I'll say it like this: I think I think Black Americans or ADOS or FBAs or whatever you want to call yourselves in America suffer from a problem of lack of real identity, in the sense that we see these things on TV, we see these things on social media, and we think that's what it means to be successful and love oneself. Like, there's a meme about, like, fake self-love, and, like, people talk about self-love all the time, and, like, just saying self-love but not really knowing what it means. And it can turn into a real toxic, selfish thing where you're saying that you're protecting yourself, but you're really just being a jerk, right? Like, people always talk about the introvert, like, thing right now of canceling plans, things of that nature. I mean, like, it just seems selfish. Like, the mindset just seems selfish. And if you really know yourself, and if you really are in tune with yourself, and you're confident in who you are, like, that's not just Black people, anybody. You don't do things in the way that on your way up you have to put someone down. Like, like, look at me, this is what I got. You don't got this. It's like, you don't say you don't got this, but you're projecting yourself like you're better than, when it's just, that's not what it is. So I think it's just people are caught up in this game of, I got the shiny ball right now, and it's really, I got this on credit, and it's not really my shiny ball, but I want you to think it's mine. I think that's what most people are caught up in.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I absolutely agree with that. I think when I said that we know we're better. I think I'm speaking, I don't want to say like for like on the level of our ancestors. I mean, just somewhat as a whole, but I get what you're saying. Like individually, we don't see that. We don't see that folks are accepting. Like I always say, I really wish more women truly understood their beauty, their power, because everything comes from us. Like if women walked around knowing our power, it would be totally different. But we know it. We just don't necessarily act on it because we are okay with allowing y'all to need more credit. To be honest, like it's like everything that you said.
Say again, Auntie. We need more what?
Huh?
Say what you said again. We need more what?
I said y'all need more what?
You said we like y'all allow us something.
Oh man, more credit. Y'all need more validation than we do.
Uncle Pooh Bear, is that true?
I'm needy. I don't know. So I might be the wrong one to ask that. Like, it's not gonna get no pushback from me.
Like if you think about it, and Pop says this a lot. The Black woman, we just handle stuff. We don't need and we don't get a lot of the thank you for this, thank you for that, or you did this and that. Every little minute thing we did, we just do. We just take care of it. But when you look at society, the women are chasing the men. The women are allowing the men to dictate the relationships and all that stuff, even though we know the power that we have within ourselves. It's an inner power that isn't always outwardly manifested, if that makes sense.
Let me ask you a question then.
And I feel like that's what the Black race is.
Let me ask you a question then about that particular thing, Auntie.
Okay.
From what I understand, women choose. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm. Not always.
Like, don't like because in a non, like for lack of a better term, rapey world, like for a man to be able to be chosen.
Oh, I'm talking about the relationship. I'm talking about the relationship, not who gonna smash. I'm not talking about.
I mean, like in like at the tertiary level, men do things so they can be seen as fit enough to be chosen as a mate, which women then have to choose.
No, because yes and no. Because men are way pickier than women.
Really?
Heck yeah.
You for real? I don't think I agree with that.
I think when it comes for the sake of being PC, men are less choosy for a warm spot. Okay. However, when it comes to relationship and longevity, men talk about what they want their women to have, and they stick with women. We will literally, that's what I say. I always say, if you don't believe me, look at all the TV shows, how the women will choose a man that is a good person and it's not about physical first. When you look at
I think there's something else to that.
No, look at it. Look at Cosby Show. It wasn't about no money. If you look at doggone let's see, what's the other show I'm talking about? If you look at what's my show? King of Queens.
It was about money for the Cosby Show. For that house that they lived in.
She held her money. She held her own with her money. She didn't need his money because he was a doctor. She was a lawyer. But she was still beautiful and Bill Cosby.
Someone did the actual finances of how much that house would cost in the 80s. They needed both their income.
Sure, but I'm saying just exactly. So, a lot of people say women get with ugly men because of money. What I'm saying is that in that sense, sure, they needed each other. What was she gaining out of the relationship? All I'm saying is that women typically will deal with a man who makes her feel good. Y'all look different from us based on how y'all treat us. The nicer you are, the more attractive you are. The funnier you are, the more attractive you are. The smarter you are, the more attractive you are. And y'all can gain weight. Y'all can lose hair. That's why men can shave their hair off, go straight up bald. And the woman ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is acceptable. Y'all walk around. That's why men will walk around right now up and down the street with no shirt on, an extra 75 pounds, and still say they want a woman that's a size 4 and expect that he's supposed to have it. Tell me I'm lying.
Okay, I'm just saying.
They
I
cup
think
size bigger than all the women I know, but they still have the nerve to be demanding. And women are just chill with it because we like, as long as he makes me laugh, he's nice to me. We have fun together. He's kind. It's different.
nothing of that has to also do with how he can provide. It's just he can make you laugh and he's kind.
What's sad is that a lot of times, and I'm not saying all, because I don't want nobody coming for me. A lot of times we would sit there, that woman would sit there, that man who his cup size bigger than hers, he barely making any money. And she's still taking care of him. It ain't even like, oh, well, girl, he dropping off all these coins. She will still be there to provide and support him, especially if he's good to her, keep the house clean, whatever, good to the kids or whatever. That's not necessarily the truth. You know, men ain't finna do all that unless she fine. Unless she fine. Ain't no man doing all that. No. Y'all can't say nothing. Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know I ain't lying. Look at your uncle. He know I ain't lying.
Wrong.
The way a woman can get away with not cooking, not cleaning, not working is if she fine.
Wrong. I ain't even hear it all. I just disagree.
I don't know. I don't.
How did we get here? What happened? I turned.
He asked me about y'all needing validation, and I was saying because women can deal with more stuff with men not being perfection, and men expect women to be perfection. That's how we got there. Your nephew took us there.
Well, I'm just looking at what I see in my generation of people who are a little bit younger than me. I definitely see. I mean, I don't know. I'm married, so I don't know about the game like that. But when I see,
I'm gonna stay out of that one.
When I see my single friends what they talk about on Facebook, it's wild, man. What I'm hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely some hypergamy going on, you know. And I will rarely like. I mean, it may not even be a gender thing. It may just be a poverty thing. If you down bad, anybody looks good to you if they taking care of you.
They tell you what?
If you're down bad, anybody looks good to you when they're taking care of you.
Exactly. and you know what's crazy is dudes will be like, oh, chicks will be taking care and they be talking trash about them. You know, it's whatever. It's whatever. So
well, not just dudes. There's women. Like, you ever see my 600-pound life?
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
So there was this episode where this black couple, this dude was.
I have seen it. Yes.
This girl she could barely get out of bed.
The one she was married to Freddie. His name was Freddie. The black couple.
No way.
She was arguing with him, and she told him, "Only thing you do for me is wipe my ass." She had the nerve. This lady who could barely move was giving it to him, and he was just. I'm so sorry, girl, baby. I'm sitting here. I'm just like, are you serious?
Yes.
It feels out of control.
All right, let's bring it back on topic.
Ain't no way you gonna talk to me like that.
Let's bring it back on topic.
Good luck with that stretch.
Man, I know Pop's over here like, what is wrong with my
All
family?
you gotta do is just say Cuba.
we back.
We back.
Hey, Cuba,
Just like that.
Up, man.
Yeah, just like that. We're back.
Hey, Pops, quick question.
Go ahead.
Did your rating of the beer change?
Huh?
Did your rating of the beer change, or are you still at a 6?
Yeah, I'm still at a 6, but I still got about a half a bottle there, you know. So
did you make your bratwurst?
it can.
Did you make your bratwurst?
My what?
You can get bratwurst with it. Did you get bratwurst? Did they bring you bratwurst today?
No. I supposed to got some bratwurst.
They only brought you the beer?
Yeah.
Check the bag.
It might. I don't know. It might be in the bag.
Okay.
It was a 6-pack of bottles, you know.
Because Pops,
I didn't look. You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because the bag is in the refrigerator with the bottle. I ain't throwing it away, so this guy.
Because They're jalapeno chicken bratwurst. The spicy ones.
Wow. I better go look now. Hope I didn't jalapenos, eh?
Yeah, let's see. I think it says chicken jalapeno.
Yeah. It might be in there. I didn't even look. In fact, I just put the whole bag in the bottles in the refrigerator down in the small refrigerator.
Yeah, that Chipotle jalapeno chicken sausages.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Should I want to hear about it?
I guess I'll postpone my diet to tomorrow.
And it's sad because I was looking forward to you eating them on the show. I was like, oh, they sound like they're gonna be so good. Put some muscle on there. I meant to ask you about them. I just knew you were gonna cook them as soon as you got them.
No, I didn't even know they was in there.
Yeah, you gotta go check.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna check. It was a bag with some bottles in there, you know.
Yeah, they probably just put it all in the same bag.
I didn't take them out of the bag, so I don't know. The sausages could not. They don't weigh much, so I probably overlooked it. Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely gonna check. I'm definitely gonna check.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to look that up, but let's wind down. Let's give our final thoughts for the day. Yeah. What about I have to go first. What's your final thought today?
Let's see. My final thought for the day.
I'm gonna go with my final thought first.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about I keep talking about women liberating us, the black man, and I constantly keep going back to W.B. Du Bois and all them women in the pictures you showing the women warriors and everything. And then I look on TV and I see all these black women and I say, nah, I'm still sticking with it, you know. We're going to come out of this with the help of our women, no doubt about it. Because they're in the forefront. And I ain't seen one yet back down. When they get on TV, man, it's blood, you know. They ain't backing down 1 inch.
Indeed.
My final thought.
Love it. So I would say that my final thought is, and I may have said it before, but I'll say it again. As rough as it can be sometimes to be black, I wouldn't want to be anything else. I love being black. And that's the absolute truth. Right. So that's what I'll leave it at that.
What about you, Uncle?
Well, my final thought is I just wish the black community would think. Right? Like we just keep doing the same shit, expecting a different result. I don't know how many times we can say it. Like in the 2 years of the show, like I probably have said it 54 times. Like it's just the same thing. Like it's like just think for a half a second, man. Everything that you've been doing ain't moving us forward. How about we just try something different? Like I don't know.
Okay. Can I do a final thought? 0.5?
Okay.
So just listening to your uncle made me think about how, and I was about to say the first time I saw Black Panther, but every time I watch Black Panther and the scene, the first time he went out there to fight for his crown, whatever, they got everybody up on the walls and all that, all the different tribes and whatever. Every time I see that scene, I cry. And it's beautiful to me because it shows to me so many different kingdoms and tribes that are ruled by us and ruled well. To me, that looks like nothing but power, royalty. And every time I see that, I'm like, I wish we were still there. Like if our black people could accept that that's our history. It's not these boats. It ain't doggone Mississippi. It ain't no cotton. That's where we're from. And I wish that more black folks would accept their legacy and their royalty and move with it. That's my final thought.
And I want a 0.5. 0.5. Go ahead, nephew. Go ahead.
You know, my final thought is I'm gonna piggyback on what you said. It's just I want to say it a little differently. Everybody who was black wasn't royalty, but it doesn't mean you didn't live a good life. You know, like everybody's kings and queens, and is everybody. What we got? Everybody got small kingdoms, but I mean that's true if you're in your own house.
Sure.
But to your ultimate, like I think the nugget of what you said was it wasn't Mississippi. I mean, even though black people have been here for a long time, it wasn't picking cotton. It wasn't that. And the third, it's you came from people who were free. You came from people who were builders, who to our knowledge, that our current history says invented mathematics, like all these things that we know to be day to day that every culture uses came from us. You came from intelligent people. That's my final thought. You came from doers.
Yep.
I love it all. And let's end. This is 3 minutes. It's worth the 3 minutes. I'm gonna let it play, and we can end on that. But
add it to the thing so I can blow it up.
Yeah, here I come.
Okay.
Share screen.
Oh, shout out to the people who've been interactive today too. Y'all been asking questions. I like that interaction stuff.
Yeah, we got it in today.
All
this
right.
The killer close. Like, check this out.
I hate to ask this question because it's embarrassing. How many of you who are African Americans, how many of you know the African city and country from which your ancestors were born?
Not one hand went up.
Not one hand went up. I asked this question of 500 whites. How many of you know the city and country? I was teaching at a university, a white university. Just outside of it. Every hand went up. They knew not only the country from which they came, not only the city, but the borough from which their ancestors came. Now, how come they know and none of you know? The reason is that these South Carolina and North Carolina plantation owners went to Germany to find out how they could control our fathers and mothers on the plantation. But they were getting out of hand. They were burning the houses down. They were killing white folks. They were doing everything negative about being in captivity. They were never slaves. They were prisoners of war. They were never slaves. They were prisoners of war. The War of 1591. So what happened was they sought the advice of an expert in Songhai history. Now, his name was Johann Blumenbach, and he was the head of the Department of History at the University of Göttingen in Germany. And how many of you know this? I know you was taught this in college and everything, all you college folks. Well, when they sought his advice, they said, do they know that they're the Songhai people? So the plantation owners who traveled over there to seek his advice said, well, of course they know that they come from the great Songhai Empire. Well, that's your problem. You can't let them know that they came from greatness, from grandeur, from beauty, from sophistication. You'll never be able to control them. So the plantation owner said, well, how can we prevent it? I mean, the mothers and the fathers would tell the children, say, you came from Timbuktu and you came from the city of Jané, and that's where we were born. And then the Europeans came over and invaded us in 1591 and marched us through the seas to the waiting ship. Man, you can't allow them to teach that to their children. It's why you want to stop it.
So I dropped that because it's not the fact that all of us weren't descendants of the kings and queens. It's the fact that we came from empires. And because you was a part of all of that, you walk different, you talk different, you act different, you move differently. You might not have been the king or queen, but they were a part of that Songhai Empire. You was a part of Timbuktu. You was a part of the Yoruba people. You were part of the Dogons. Like when you know your history and your culture, you act and you move differently.
Well, that's a good way to end it. So we'll see y'all next week. Stay tuned. We'll get more guests back on the show. We love you guys. See you next week.
All right.